so fresh, looking so fresh. When I walk by, breaking their necks. Waiting in line at the team store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talking for Hours. I am Ben Fadden. The Padres, they take both games in this mini two-game set at Petco against the Giants. Luis Arraez returns. Jason Heyward returns. Yuli Gurriel is DFA'd. Mason McCoy is on the IL. So there were a lot of things that happened here. There's injury updates, some positive injury updates. So we'll get to that. But thanks for joining. Much appreciated that you all take the time to either listen on the podcast or watch live on YouTube or watch on replay. I'll obviously get to the comments that are live in the chat. But yeah, Padres, they win obviously last night in the return of Luis Arraez. They won that one 7-4. And then today in the series finale, 5-3. I thought, shocker with Arraez and Heyward back. It's a positive influence on this lineup for sure and on the team in general. I think it's definitely easier to get to the ball yard when you've got those guys returning. Because I think, especially Luis Arraez just brings such a positive light into that clubhouse, probably. I'm obviously not in there, but he seems like just such a bright light and obviously a great talent as well. But, yeah, just what I saw these couple games from the offense was team offense, back to that team offense. And when these guys were away, obviously with that 2-7 stretch in their last 9, the offense collectively was struggling. Excuse me. What I saw and it's just 2 games, obviously, but one of them was against Logan Webb, and another today. It wasn't trying to do too much. Guys were not trying to do too much. It was not just star players coming through, like Tatis going 3 for 4, Arraez getting a couple of hits, Manny driving in a run. And by the way, when he drove that run in, he wasn't trying to do too much, going the opposite way. But it was Tyler Wade coming through, in the bottom of the second with an RBI. It was Elias Diaz homering. It was Jose Iglesias just putting the ball in play. Went 3 feet, but put the ball in play and good things can happen. Arraez tripling. And then obviously team effort in the bullpen with your starter, and then in the bullpen, the high leverage guys doing some of them did a decent job. I think I'm not going to overreact today to the bullpen performance because they've been so good this season that Jason Adam giving up a home run and Jeremiah Estrada giving up a home run, I'm not going to sit here and be super concerned about that. I'm just not. Estrada's did look like, watching that, it did look like that was essentially a pitching machine throwing that fastball. I think it was 96. That's what it looked. Estrada's delivery there. It was like, all right, here it comes. And yeah, it got hit. Adam, that ball was down, I believe, the Yaz in the strike zone. Probably too much of the plate, but Adam's been really good. I mean, the guy, even after today, has a 106 ERA, so not concerned with him. Suarez, 0.64 ERA, got his 12th save on the year, couple of strikeouts. Using that changeup. He did that, what was it, the last pitch of the game, I think, with that changeup. So a lot of these guys in this bullpen have been amazing this season. And so Estrada and Adam giving up a run each today, I'm just not going to freak out about that. I'm not. And especially when you have guys returning in this offense and you have a starter like Michael King who can almost go 6 innings today and 1 earned run, only walked 1 guy, 6 punch outs. He probably would say he could have been a little bit better, but overall, I think that was a pretty darn good outing from him. I wasn't able to watch the entire game, but just seeing some of the highlights and seeing some of the reaction on social media amongst Padres fans, it was another one of those starts that makes you want Michael King to be here long term with the Padres. The likelihood that they get that done, I don't think is very high. I think this guy's going to get paid in the offseason. But surprising things have happened. I wasn't expecting the Padres. Now, that was when Peter Seidler was alive, but I wasn't expecting the Padres to give Xander Bogaerts $280 million. More current example, I wasn't expecting the Padres to pay Nick Pivetta over $40 million on the contract. I know it's like $1 million this year, but I was not expecting Nick Pivetta to be a Padre on a 4-year deal like that. So things can happen here, but I'm just enjoying Michael King while we have him. Dylan Cease, hopefully he can, be like that ace guy, because we know how special of a talent he is. But yeah, just a team win. 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position today. Yesterday, 5 for 9. And that was not what was happening in that 2-7 stretch there. It was not coming through 50% of the time. I'll tell you that, with runners in scoring position. We weren't seeing this Padres team score runs sometimes in that stretch. Getting shut out a couple games in a row in the 30-inning scoreless streak, right? Which was, I think, a few innings away from the franchise's worst. And going back to that, wasn't surprised by it because you had guys like Mason McCoy in the order, Oscar Gonzalez and Tirso Ornelas making up. You had Gavin Sheets or Xander Bogaerts hitting second or Xander hitting fourth. Are we going to be super surprised by that? You have Luis Arraez come in the lineup, and now you have Tatis, Arraez, Manny. You can have Sheets hit fourth, Bogaerts hit fifth or sixth, wherever you want them. And then after that, it's Iglesias, Wade, Heyward, Diaz. And with Iglesias and Wade, they're going to give you good at-bats. I'm not expecting power from them, but they're going to give you good at-bats. And then after that, Heyward's a better option, in my opinion, right now than someone like Tirso or Oscar Gonzalez, the way it was going. And then Diaz can hit one out of the yard every once in a while. So all of a sudden, when you have and this isn't even Merrill coming back yet, Cronenworth coming back yet. And we'll see the Lockridge situation. I have those injury updates here in a little bit. But you can just see the impact that these guys have coming back into the lineup and how it stretches out that it just makes it harder for those opponents, obviously, to get through that lineup. They have to make decisions where there's less decisions. I think I already talked about this in a prior show, but there's just less decisions to make when you have less dangerous hitters. You can dance around some of the opponent's most talented guys and attack the others. Where here it's like, who are you going to dance around? Good luck. And that's only going to get better for us, for Padres fans, when someone like Jackson Merrill comes back. But yeah, Diaz with the homer today. Again, Iglesias, Manny, Diaz, Wade, these guys coming through. Arraez with the triple. Shout out to Jason Adam, by the way. I know it was a little bit of a rocky inning there, but he did get that strikeout to end that inning, which was big. So, yeah, just a team win. It wasn't just superstars coming through, but it was guys at the very bottom of the order, like Elias Diaz, or bottom third of the order, like Tyler Wade, or top of the order, like Manny and Arraez coming through, and then Tatis getting 3 hits on the day and scoring a run. He's hitting 345 on the season, a 101.1 OPS. So pretty darn good there. And then yesterday, Nick Pivetta just being Nick Pivetta at Petco. It wasn't as great, like in terms of the earned runs that his previous Petco outings were, but the bar was pretty high that he had set there early in the season. But he was 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 punch outs. Did give up that 1 home run on a pitch that wasn't the best location. But I talked about this yesterday on my post game, just loving the competitor that Nick Pivetta is. I think he kind of replaces Musgrove with that role in this rotation. And the fire, him yapping back at Patrick Bailey after getting the strikeout of Yaz during his outing when it seemed like Bailey had his pitches or his location. And Pivetta did mention that to the media after the game yesterday. I think Kevin put it in his Padres Daily about how, he'll look at the video guy. The video guys will talk with him. He'll communicate there, and he's not too worried about that, which I wouldn't be either. Like, they're big leaguers. Is it something that me, just a Padres fan would be able to spot exactly what he was doing wrong. I wasn't, picking that up during the game. I don't think it was super obvious. But for a pitching coach, for a video guy who, does this every day, for a starting pitcher that knows every little detail of what it should look like, they'll probably be able to pick that up pretty easily. So I'm not worried about Nick Pivetta there. I mean, even after yesterday's outing, has a 1.78 ERA. And again, not walking too many guys, almost getting double-digit punchies. And then the bullpen, Estrada did give up a run, but Morhone, Adams, Suarez, no runs there. And this 2-game series was great because now there's the day off before Pittsburgh. And by the way, the Padres don't have to face Paul Skeens coming up. Paul Skeens is pitching tomorrow. So the Pirates, not only are they not going to have an off day before like the Padres do going into this series, but they're going to be pitching Skeens tomorrow. And then I don't follow the Pirates, so I don't know who they would go after that. But the Padres didn't face Skeens last year and not going to face them, at least in Pittsburgh, this time around. There's some people that say, like, hey, I want the Padres to face Paul Skeens because that's going to be very interesting to see Manny and Tatis go up against Paul Skeens and Luis Arraez as well, right? Some of these guys. But for me, I'm like, if the Pirates get to the postseason, sure, we can face Skeens, but I'd rather not. Like, I care about getting to the postseason, and there's going to be, and Skeens may be the best pitcher in the National League or best pitcher in baseball, whatever you want to say. Electric stuff, obviously, super talented, but the Padres are going to face other super talented arms, along the way in the regular season. Of course, I'd rather not face Paul Skeens. Would it be cool to see Manny take him deep or something? Like, yeah, but are the Padres' odds of winning a baseball game better if Paul Skeens is on the mound or if someone else is? The answer is someone else. So, yeah, I'm totally fine with not having Paul Skeens be thrown against the Padres coming up in Pittsburgh. Getting to Logan Webb yesterday, that was pretty fun to watch. 5 earned runs. But going into it, I did not know that they had as good of numbers as they did going into that outing, or what they did against Logan Webb as a team this past year. I forget the exact numbers, but it was a pretty darn good average. And they were able to get to him again. And that's a sub-3 ERA, ace of the Giants staff that you can get to. I thought it was weird, by the way. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but Camilo Doval, I was listening to most of the game today because I wasn't able to watch all of it. But he was pitching in the 7th inning for this Giants team. So Bob Melvin doesn't know exactly who his closer is, which is interesting when it's April. The Padres, I mean, we've got a great situation that we've got going on. But just overall, again, you get swept by the Rays to start off this homestand, face the Giants, the first NL West contender, because the Rockies are, who cares, whatever. Padres did their job against them, great. But they're not a contender, obviously. But this is the first NL West contender the Padres faced this year. And I know it's just 2 games, but one of them, again, was against Logan Webb. And the Giants have some good hitters to start off the season. Yaz with an 888 OPS. Jung-Hoo Lee, him being healthy for the first year, right? Because last year he wasn't healthy. A 901 OPS. Matt Chapman's in there. They've got some good hitters in this order. So it was a test, and it was a great time to get someone like Luis Arraez back, someone like Jason Heyward as well. Great sliding catch that he made today, or I think it was a sliding catch that he made late in this game. I want to say it was the 8th inning, which if he didn't make that catch, there would have been multiple runners on with, I want to say, 1 out. So who knows what would have happened after that? Because I think Adam was pitching. So, yeah, just if guys didn't contribute with the bat, they contributed defensively. They contributed in some way. So, really happy with these 2 games, but it's not a surprise. I talked about it earlier, obviously, about what the impact of Arraez and what this lineup looks like, even with a couple guys back and not even Merrill and Cronenworth yet. But, yeah, it just, shocker, having the best, bat-to-ball hitter in the league in your lineup back, that's going to help you. Now, obviously, there were other guys that did better than they have been doing in that 11-game stretch. that produced, like Manny, like um, Bogaerts yesterday with the homer and the three RBI game. Yeah, guys like that. Diaz with the homer, right? Guys coming through. Tyler Wade. Guys contributed, and it's not like it was only the Luis Arraez series, and that's the only reason why the Padres won these 2 games. Like, I get it, it's a team, but that's also my point, or was my point when those guys were down. It's like, yeah, you need a team. You can't just have 2-star players and then think that that's going to carry you in an entire season or even a couple weeks stretch. Baseball is hard, you know. It's 9 guys in a lineup and more when there's pinch hitters and all these different matchups and guys that are throwing 97, night in, night out. It's a tough game, and having those star players helps. But having the depth in the lineup, which it wasn't great, that can help, you stand out amongst the other teams. And I think we saw that in these 2 games against the Giants. I did want to get to Yuli Gurriel, him getting DFA'd, and Mason McCoy on the IL, left finger sprain. Obviously, that was him diving back in the bag when he got doubled off. I think that was that Friday game against the Rays. But, yeah, Yuli Gurriel, DFA'd. I think a lot of Padres fans were happy about this news. I'm not going to, totally crap on Gurriel. Maybe some people want me to. I think I'm happy that Gurriel got DFA'd. But I'm not mad for the Padres trying it out. Profar could have not worked, and it worked. Nelson Cruz, Matt Carpenter didn't work, but it could have worked, just like Solano and David Peralta last year did work. So I was fine with them trying. Early in the season, I know he didn't last the entire month of April even, but early in the season like this, when you have someone with a track record that has performed before, I know he was 40 and I didn't have a lot of optimism going in, but now was the time to try it. And now you can say, all right, wasn't going to work. You wish him well. You send him on his way. And now you can go with younger guys, whether that be an Eggy if he can get called up or Campy. Obviously now with Oscar or Tirso or Gavin Sheets, obviously, Arraez at first. You can go with other guys and not have we got to play Yuli Gurriel. We got to get him some at-bats here at some point. You don't have that need anymore. So I think that's good. Maybe he was a good clubhouse guy, but guess what? There's plenty of good clubhouse guys. This isn't 2019 anymore. There's the objective here is to win baseball games, and Gurriel, while he did have some RBI hits, he had 6 RBIs. Having a 634 OPS when you're there for your bat. He made a good diving play in Houston. You're there for your bat, though, and it just wasn't good enough. Simple as that. So, I think it shows also that, like the Padres, they're being serious. They're going to give him a chance. They're going to give these players a shot. But if once you get that shot and you're not performing, then they're going to go in another direction. They're not going to hold on to you just because, it's Yuli Gurriel, the name. No, we got to win baseball games here. So I respect it. I'm happy about the decision. But I'm not going to super, crap on Gurriel and, why the Padres did this in the first place. What were they doing? I wasn't the biggest fan of it when it happened, but at the same time, I do understand that they were going to take the shot. It was low risk. It ended up being low reward, but they can just send him on his way now and, go with other guys. And obviously that made room for Arraez, Heyward, with McCoy going on the IL. And that, I think, is a good segue into the Padres injury updates. And Kevin Acee in his Padres Daily, he had some updates on Yu Darvish, Jake Cronenworth, Jackson Merrill, Brandon Lockridge, Joe Musgrove. And so here is the updated target for Jackson Merrill, and that's going to be on Monday in New York, Yankee Stadium against the Yankees. He's in Arizona. The latest update that I saw was from Marty Caswell that he played some center field, and he got 6 at-bats. So he's putting in work. A video that I saw the other day, he singled up the middle in Peoria, but he wasn't able to run. but I assume he is running now if he was going to be playing center field out there. So he's making progress. And Mike Schilt did tell the media after today's game that Merrill and Lockridge are nearing the finish line. Like they're getting there in that rehab. Cronenworth, he leaves for Arizona today. Yeah, 6 at-bats yesterday for Merrill. Doubled and tripled and played center field. Marty Caswell tweeted that out, so thank you, Marty, for that. So, yeah, obviously getting Merrill back will be so huge because what that does to the lineup, I mean, holy cow. You know, I know there's been a lot of emphasis on someone like Xander Bogaerts, but having an MVP candidate in there that you can place third in the lineup or, wherever, fourth, whatever. And that allows Gavin Sheets to have less pressure. He was pressing. I thought it was pretty clear. He was pressing when he was in that 2 spot, you know? And so to get him back down further in the order, I think could help. And just get him back to, like, not maybe feeling like, oh, he has to be the guy. Because when he doesn't feel like he has to be the guy, we've seen the results, obviously. He's been big. So, again, it's that effect, right? And then, obviously, Tyler Wade, like, yeah, I think he's earned his spot to be on the roster as a utility guy on the bench. But you're taking Jackson Merrill over Tyler Wade. Like, the offensive upgrade there, Merrill is someone that can hit you home runs. And he can drive in you runs. And it's not just going to be this small ball and some singles to right, you know? And Merrill does have speed. Wade has speed as well, but Merrill does too. And he has an arm, and he's good defensively in center field. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Gold Glove in his future at some point. He's just one of the best players on it. You don't need me to keep blabbing about it. You know, he's one of the best players in baseball when he's on, and he's one of the best players on this team for sure. One of the faces of the franchise already. Cronenworth expected back for the series in Colorado beginning on May 9th. So I believe that is not this Friday, but next Friday when that Colorado series starts. That would be the last series of this road trip that they're starting. Pittsburgh, New York, and then Colorado, and then they're back home. And I did see Croney in the dugout yesterday. So, yeah, he is going to be heading up to Arizona, if not already. Lockridge, Merrill at the team's complex in Arizona. Darvish will join Cronenworth. Darvish dealing with the elbow inflammation, obviously working his way back. Musgrove, according to Kevin, he is also going to be there. Darvish, through his second consecutive intense bullpen session in 5 days, sitting down once to simulate throwing 2 innings. He threw 13 pitches and then 21 pitches and said he felt good. He expects to face hitters in Arizona this weekend. Darvish would likely do that at least twice before making at least 2 rehab starts in the minor leagues. That continues to line up for a return in late May. So, obviously, they've been precautionary with Darvish, and that's the right approach, especially the way this rotation has been. It's been pretty darn good. So, yeah, all good with that. And it's good that, because remember, the updates wasn't really, he was throwing in the bullpen, but it wasn't really a bullpen. The catcher was standing, and then the catcher would squat, and it was 19 fastballs, 1 breaking ball, because Darvish wanted to throw the breaking ball. And now we're getting into intense bullpen sessions, consecutive intense bullpen sessions. And he's doing the up-down, starting the up-downs. So this is the most progress, obviously, in this rehab so far. But this is going to be like his spring training, if you think about it, because he didn't make very many spring training starts. And even if he did, well, this time down, that cancels it out, you know? Lockridge, the plan for Lockridge, once he is healthy, is not known. It could come down to whether the Padres value what Lockridge brings over Oscar or Tirso. And what I would say with that is, but the way that Tyler Wade's playing, and he's shown the ability to play center field, and I assume he could play left if they need him to, why have Lockridge there if you could have Wade there as a speed option, and he can play some infield and outfield, and you can keep Oscar and Tirso, who you might, want to see more at the big league level. Let's see what they can give. If it turns out to be like, all right, this isn't it, then they can send them back down and you can go with Lockridge. If they just want to go with Lockridge out of the gate once he's ready to come back, I would think that Tirso's the one that would go down. I know it's been a smaller sample size, but maybe the Padres are still at a point where they're like, yeah, let's just continue to have him. Okay, he was in the big leagues, so he knows that he's there. He's good enough. Let's keep giving him those at bats and keep building that confidence. So if there's an injury, that we can call him back up and he'll be ready to go. So those are the updates there. Musgrove, there's not really a big update there. It was just that he's recovering still, and he is going to be joining the team. Not the team, excuse me. He's been with the team, joining Crony, Darvish, Merrill, Lockridge at the team's complex in Arizona. And I don't know the exact work that he would be doing right now, but we know Joe, he's putting in the work, and he's going to want to be back, in the postseason, maybe in an opener role or in the bullpen, but that's obviously a ways away. If Darvish comes back, let's say late May, you would have a rotation of Darvish, obviously, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta. And then, am I just totally blanking on who? Would it be Vasquez? Yeah, right? Because, yeah, I'm not blanking on anyone, right? King, Cease, Darvish, Pivetta. Yeah, there's 4, and then Vasquez. Or Kolek or Hart, They're having Vasquez still be at the big league level. The reason why there is no fifth, that's probably why I just paused there, because there's no fifth starter really right now, because Kyle Hart's down in the minors, because there's no need for the fifth starter right now with the schedule that the Padres have. Obviously, they were off on Monday, off Thursday, so there just isn't that, and they can skip over that spot and throw your best guys, which is great. But yeah, as for the injuries and those updates, obviously we had Arraez back, Heyward back, Crony making progress, hopefully Merrill and Crony will be back, and maybe Lockridge, we'll see, during this next road trip that the Padres are going to be on. Not in Pittsburgh, but New York for Merrill, and hopefully Colorado for Crony. But I wonder, would the Padres want Crony to return in Colorado? Because it's a rib fracture, non-displaced rib fracture. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea, what the elevation would play into this. Would they want Crony to return in Colorado? Maybe there are doctors and, trainers and people that know more about this than me, or maybe just a simple Google search that I haven't done would make me sound stupid here about that. Be like, that has nothing to do with this. But that thought did just pop into my head. Like, Colorado's an interesting spot for him to come back. But the Padres, obviously, and their medical team would know more than me, who's just having things pop into his head and, blurring them out here on his YouTube show. But yeah, those are the updates on Padres injured players, the notable injured players. All right, before getting to the chat, I did want to shout out the great sponsors of this show. Gaglione Bros Famous Cheesesteaks and Garlic Fries. Their main location is on Friars Road. You can check them out. Link in the description, their address, the phone number, all that. They have the expanded menu, obviously, at their main location on Friars Road. And then they have at Petco Park, they are in section 124 and 319. So that's down the third baseline and in the upper deck. They've got the garlic fries there, the cheesesteak fries, cheesesteaks. They've got a lot of solid of the, the core stuff in their menu. Fan favorites. There's usually some lines, so maybe get there early to the ballpark. But you won't regret trying that out if you have not already. I assume a lot of you already have, though. And Freestyle Cut and Stitch, 10% off any future order, code Talking Friars. They've got great basketball jerseys. They are a local, same thing with Gaglione Bros, local San Diegan brand, and they can customize stuff for you. They've got a lot of great Jackson Merrill basketball jerseys, Musgrove, a lot of different players, obviously. And then there's some other sports as well. If you want to request something, hit them up there on their website, freestylecutandstitch.com. and you'll be able to contact them there if you have any ideas, and they'll try their best, obviously, to help you out there. But yeah, I highly recommend that you check out Freestyle Cut and Stitch. I have the Musgrove City Connect basketball jersey, and they can tailor their jerseys to teams. They've done little leagues before, travel ball clubs, fan groups, businesses. It's one of a kind merchandise, special, that it helps you stand out, and it can help give that person, show off your personality a little bit and stand out from just the other Padres jerseys at Petco Park. I'm sure you guys have seen the basketball jerseys. The Padres they're even making their own giveaway, the Manny Machado basketball jersey giveaway, I believe, later this year. Where did that idea come from? It probably wasn't just the Padres. Manny has worn the Freestyle Cut and Stitch jerseys. So check them out there. And it's not going to cost, it doesn't cost you as much as Padres jerseys at the team store. So if you want a little bit of a cheaper option, check them out. And then Breaking Tea, if you are more of a shirt person, they've got some great Padres shirts there, Aztecs as well. Merrill, Gavin Sheets, Holy Sheets. They have some Nando shirts out this year. So a lot of great stuff. And they keep their shirts from years prior as well. So if you missed out on one of them and you want to just scroll back through, you can go through there on Breaking Tea again. All the links to the sponsors, these partners, they are in the description. And same code as Freestyle Cut and Stitch. Talking Friars is the code. For SeatGeek, $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email for a future Padre game you want to go to, or another event, maybe an SDFC match, wave match, San Diego State when basketball is back in season, or football. So please use that to your advantage. All right. Have I missed anything on social media here real quick? I don't think I have. Darnay Tripp tweeted, Padres hitting with runners in scoring position. Last two games, 9 for 17. Yeah, I think that'll work. That'll do for sure. During their 4-game skid, the 4-game losing streak going into this Giants series, 2 for 20. Yeah, not great. Michael King this season, 38 and 2/3 innings, 46 punch-outs, a 2.09 ERA, 101 WHIP, 191 batting average against. So, yeah, he's lining up for a pretty darn good payday. Seems like he enjoys it being in San Diego, but if another team comes with a good offer, I'm sure he will enjoy wherever that team is. Daniel says, hey, everyone, happy Wednesday. Frieza was at the game today. Amazing energy. Galapagos says. Carter says, hey, Ben, it's been a while, dude. Sorry I haven't joined the show as much this year. Been crazy busy, but great series win. Let's go, Padres. Yeah, it was. Look, it's only 2 games. Obviously, a very small sample size, right? What's 2 of 162? It's a little over 1% of the season, these last 2 games, Very small. But it's not just these 2 games, because when guys were healthy at the beginning of the year, starting off the season 13-4, I think 15-5 for sure. I know that they started off like, I'm not saying they're going to do that the entire year, but it's not just 2 games. It's 2 games with these guys back, and obviously after the 4-game losing streak, but there's still a little bit bigger of a sample size that should, have Padres fans thinking that, all right, we're going to be back here. We're going to be back playing good, because the pitching staff has been pretty darn good the entire season. Galapagos says batters and pitchers top 3 for me: Tatis, Adam, and Estrada for the series. I'm assuming, or just players in general, because Tatis is up there for sure. I think overall for the season, you have to put Suarez up there. Adam, yes. Estrada's been good. Hoeing is really underrated. Well, he's also not going to be talked about much because he's on the 60-day IL now. I think Sean Reynolds is still in El Paso building up, so that's good. Hoeing's not going to be the fifth starter because he's hurt. Grant says, great to see some mainstays back in the lineup. Still need some rotation help, more than what we have coming off the IL. But this is a World Series offense if we add some slug at the deadline. Sure, I mean, I think you can always use more power. You can always use more pitching as well. I know the Padres, the pitching looks strong, but injuries can always happen. And guys losing it, underperforming, that can happen as well. And the rotation help, we'll see. I'd like to see Darvish come back, see how he looks. Pavetta, he can keep this going. Michael King, same thing. Dylan Cease, what is he going to look like here in a couple months? Like, there's still time, obviously, before this trade deadline here. Feels a little weird even talking about it because we're not even in May yet. And the trade deadline's in July. Yeah, I agree. You from Grain. Wade and Iglesias are playing well. Doing the things to help the team win. Put the ball in play, do their job on defense. Yeah, just fundamental baseball. And I'd be pretty surprised, to be honest, if Wade doesn't remain on the roster. Irie says, it's nice to see what happened when you just extend the lineup just a little. Give it a little. It gave them just enough confidence. Yeah. I think so too. When you're losing and you're not performing the way you want to, I think, yeah, you do probably get a little bit tighter, maybe get in your head mentally. Yeah, that could have definitely been happening. JD's third says, I'd rather face Skeens now in April, May than in September when we're trying to get a wild card spot. Well, okay, but every game counts the same. So I'd rather just not face Skeens at all. And then you probably have a better shot of winning that series or maybe sweeping that series. And therefore, those are wins that you can't take back. So I'd rather not face Skeens at all. And because you're saying it like you're not trying to get a wild card spot on May 1st. Or what's tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Friday. May 2nd. Let's say Skeens was starting on May 2nd. I feel like that's you saying, well, they're not trying to get the wild card spot on May 2nd. And I guess literally they're not because you can't. But they're trying to get it now. They're trying to win the division now because they're trying to win every game that they play and take it one day at a time and win. Today's game counts the same as the game on September 5th or whatever, So I'd rather just not face Skeens. I don't really care if, when it is. If I had to pick, I'd rather face Skeens when we're the healthiest. So if that's in September, then yeah. If it's now, then yeah. How's Darvish doing? I gave that update. He's going to be going to Arizona. And he expects to face hitters this weekend in Peoria, I assume. Trade for Jung-Hoo Lee when it's trade deadline? Okay. Why would the Giants do that? Would Merrill bat third eventually? I could see it. If they want to go, I mean, but then you would be going right, left, because Tatis right, Arraez left, Merrill left, Manny right. But if you want Merrill to get as many at bats as possible, then yeah, you put him third over fourth, and definitely over fifth. But Merrill's, I'm pretty sure he's already batted third, right? Isn't that where he was? Yeah, I don't know when Hoeing would come back, though. Irie says hopefully Hoeing can come back to give this bullpen a little rest. I don't know when that would be, though. I think the bullpen's been managed pretty well in terms of days off and usage. And part of that is because of the days off, one. And two, I think starting pitchers have done a pretty good job. All right. So coming up, Padres, Pirates, off day tomorrow on Thursday. And then Dylan Cease projected to start on Friday. That's going to be at 3:40 Apple TV Plus. On Saturday, it'll be at 1:05. No projected starter yet for either team. But that should be Vasquez, I think. And then Pavetta on Sunday, maybe. Sunday's going to be at 10:35 a.m. our time. And then on Monday, they go to Yankee Stadium. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All night games there. Off day Thursday to travel, and then Colorado. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll see if Merrill and Crony are both back. Lockridge, we'll see. And then they come back home on Monday, May 12th to face the Angels. So that's what we're looking at. Thank you, everyone, for the time. Any comments, questions, anything like that, put it in the comments. Again, much appreciated for those that hung here live on YouTube or are watching on replay or listen on the podcast platforms. However you're doing it, thank you for taking the time. Again, much appreciated. I don't take it for granted. You could be doing a lot of other things than listening to me. So thank you and have a great night.